Hello everyone and welcome back to High Ridge Farm with me, the Walrus. We are in our final week of Year 4, the winter season. And it is beautiful. I love the light snow scatters. It's just a beautiful aesthetic, I feel. And I think probably because, growing up, there were only a couple of occasions that we had snow. It might sound a bit bizarre, but especially to those who are more used to seeing snow so much, that especially here in the south coast of England, because I live so close to the sea, we just don't get snow. Too much salt in the air. And it's also a bit warmer. Although the United Kingdom is on a similar latitude, I think it's on a similar latitude to New York. May even be in Canada. But it's bitingly cold over there, whereas here, not as much. I mean, it's beautiful, but it does mean that we don't get quite as much fun time with snow. So when I moved to the US, oh man, did I love that. My girlfriend at the time was very much annoyed at me with the fact that I was like, why are you enjoying all this? It's like, well, I don't get to experience this so much. I mean, you do, you grew up with this, but we don't really get it. So I guess, you know, different strokes for different folks, eh? So yeah, that's a thing. So let's have a quick look and see what I can do from our bulletin board. Let's deal with the ocean fish population. That'll be an easy one to deal with. Okay, so we've got ourselves a little basic quest there to try and achieve. And, I mean, shouldn't be too difficult, I don't think. I mean, heck, we've got a couple of great plans ahead of us, which is good. Now, let's grab what we can. So we're going to head down to the beach, and I'm going to try and catch myself a tuna, because that's going to be the first easy task to try to achieve. And once we've caught the tuna, then we can move on and grab what's next. So it's more ocean fish, really. Which, again, not the end of the world sort of level of difficult. I think what I will do, though, is I might end up making some challenge bait, because it'll just make this a bit quicker. And actually, that is something I really appreciate about the challenge bait, is the fact that it does mean that you do have the opportunity to catch 3 fish at a single time, which makes challenges like this one a heck of a lot easier. And I'd rather spend less time doing that if I've got the opportunity. I'm quite lazy, so making fishing easier and quicker rather than catching 20. Goodness, yes, please. And I'm not saying that I dislike the fishing mechanic. It's one that I actually quite enjoy, but at the same time, I'd rather keep it easy and have to involve myself less with it. So I'm just ignoring this box that's appeared there because I don't really need... well, I mean, treasure's useful because, again, it usually contains bits of roe. Yeah, I'm not really troubling with myself with the treasure chests, but of course they do have the big benefit of giving me roe. And the roe itself, it's, well, a lot of fish, it's not that valuable, but it's something else I can pickle and just get a bit of extra money out of. So it's kind of nice to be able to access. I mean, again, though, it's not like it's anything too groundbreaking decision-making sort of thing, like, oh, I really want to catch the roe. I mean, lava eels are really the only ones that I care too much about, being that they are, I think, the most valuable. I think they're the one that I'm relying on for my roe anyway. So we've got my tuna for Gus, I think. That's where I need to give it to. So once we catch one, let's see what else we can get. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? I mean, I think it's generally an interesting question. Is there anything else I can catch? Because, yeah, we're going to need lots of other miscellaneous goodies as we roam our way through. Okay. So that's not too bad. We've got ourselves our required. I'm going to take that back over to Gus, and that should be nice and easy, really. I mean, it's not exactly a particularly challenging task or ask, really, which is good. I mean, I'd rather have ones that are much easier to solve and complete, because that makes my life far, far easier. So, the ocean fish. I'm going to make some more challenge bait, because I think I've got some, but I'm not sure how much I've got left. I don't think it's that much right now. So I should probably check and see what's available currently to myself. But like I said, I don't think there's that much right now, at least. So let's find out. So, okay, so we've got ourselves a bunch of lovely materials that we're not... I mean, again, not really going to need them right now, because look at those stacks of bars. We've got more than 100 of each, and quite a few more of others. But I am going to smoke some of these fish. Because generally speaking, the fish are kind of helpful to be smoked. It's extra money, and yes, it does use coal. But at the same time, it's not like it's a particularly massive investment of time. The weird thing, though, really, I would say, is the fact that the resources that are required to actually make the fish smokers, they do kind of make them not impossible to access, but they are a little bit more difficult, I would probably suggest, compared to like the preserves jar or the keg. And the preserves jar does require, well, I think one of them requires, I think the preserve jar requires the earth crystal, and t'other requires something else. I think it's the resin for that one. So yeah, they do have some, not impossibilities, but some fractionally difficult bits that make them annoying. It's probably the best way of describing it. Now, those logs, though, I think they're quite cute as a general concept for the mushroom thing, but I'm wondering if I could try and maybe, with my consideration of turning the quarry into more of an organised orchard, because I've used it previously as just a bit of an orchard, maybe I should have some more of the stumps, because maybe I could use that as a mass mushroom farm. That'd be quite nice, because, well, if I'm allowed to place them, of course, there. That's the question. But I think that would be nice use for it, because I've been trying to figure out if there are any other sort of uses for the quarry as a kind of as a whole, because it's a nice environment. I like the quarry, but as I mentioned in a previous video, I do find it just a little bit disappointing, because it does have a lot of, I feel, missing potential. It'd be really cool if you could, like, as an upgrade, you had a couple of choices, and perhaps you could turn it into a dig site or something, and you get loads of artifact spots, and it becomes like it generates more artifact spots as a whole, and it kind of is like an interesting sort of paleontological sort of thing. I think that'd be quite a cute idea. Obviously, I'm not expecting that to be implemented, but I think that would be quite an interesting idea. But, of course, we got the current improvements of, like, the gems and such, but I'm just trying to think of anything else that might work as a nice feature for them. I mean, so yeah, if you've got any ideas that what you'd like to see in the quarry, please leave it below as a comment, because I'm curious. I mean, I think a dig site would be interesting, but hey, I'm curious to know. Because, yeah, I want to know. Of course I do. I'm insanely curious. Right, so let's see what we can catch. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. I'm just going to sell the fish or smoke them. And maybe I could also turn some of them into bait. Because some of the fish I've already turned into bait. So they're kind of readily usable as bait when a challenge appears. So... yeah, it shouldn't be super difficult. I mean, it's also, we're coming up to, what, 6 PM now? It's late in the day, in that it's dark out, which, to be fair, it currently is around here in the UK, because we're in the beginnings of autumn, and I definitely prefer the later sunsets of summer. But if I could have the later sunsets of the summer, but with temperatures of, like, mid-late autumn, like where it's cooler, I would be all over that. Maybe I just need to move to, like, the fjords. No, I know it gets real dark up there. Like, real dark. Very, very quickly. I have a couple of friends who live in Finland, so yeah. No. That's not my jam. thanks. But yeah, anyway. Maybe we'll figure something else out. But for now, we're going to catch and see what we can. And, I mean, this one's not being too difficult right now. I mean, heck, it's quite an easy fish by the looks of things. Thank goodness. It's nice that we do have some fish that are a little bit easier. I mean, I wouldn't expect a sea cucumber to be that much of a challenge to catch. Although I think it is a little bit harder than some fish in the game. Which, I mean, they don't exactly move very fast, do they? But I didn't realise how much of a delicacy they are in some Asian cultures. And actually, it's one of those things that, like, I don't know if I'd enjoy it, but I'd give it a try to see what it's like. That being said, I've tried snails and really did not enjoy them. So, but that's just assuming because, like, vaguely mollusky, even though I know it's not the same. I don't think it's the same family. So I don't want to say I know, because I could be very wrong. And also, as one says, talking out of my backside. Which, you know, does happen occasionally. I'm known to be a little bit hyperbolic and be like, I don't know. Who knows? Right, so we've got ourselves the biome balance completed, so that's good. And of course, visiting us, the main reason I did that one was because it gives me the prize ticket. And I'll get another prize ticket tomorrow from the dispensing machine because I've done the biome balance for good old Demetrius, who has, he's asked me a couple of times recently actually to absolutely decimate fish populations, which, you know, that's fair. As we mentioned previously, you know, it is important to make sure that there is some balance to counteract some human interaction, because, you know, we do have a habit of messing with stuff, so kind of important. So yeah, let's keep it going. Let's see what else we can get. Hopefully we can get ourselves some more good fish whilst we're out and about here. I mean, I'm not like too worried about what fish it is, it's just as long as we get them all. And let's just quickly distribute everything back into the house for now. I'm trying to think of what else that we can sort of do here. I mean, we've got loads of carp that need smoking. The trouble is, carp, again, very oily fish, from my understanding of it. And as other people have commented previously, yeah, it's not an uncommon delicacy in parts of the world. And again, it's something I'd be curious to actually try some. Again, just not had the chance to indulge in a carp. But hey, I guess that's just the way it goes, isn't it? Right, so I guess that's pretty much everything on the main farm. So travelling back here to Ginger Island, we've got the mango trees are ready, the orange trees are ready. It's all organised, and I do kind of want to try planting some more trees. Like fruiting trees out and about here. I think that would probably be a sensible plan, and see what we can kind of get. Now that fairy rose is taking an awful long time to grow. I'm wondering if I've done something wrong, or if I might have just miscalculated on it. But I'm pretty sure it shouldn't take this long to grow. I'm not sure. But let's just grab what we can from here and what we need. I think that's the big thing, isn't it? What do we need? Indeed. So we've got ourselves a bit more wood. I'm just after the coconuts as an opportunity. Again, coconuts, quite an interesting one. I like the idea of making the coconut wine and coconut preserves. Again, that's like an interesting concept I've never thought of. Don't know. Is it a thing? I do not know. I'd be genuinely curious. The idea of a coconut... I mean, I've drunk coconut water, so obviously I know about coconut beverages. Okay, so that's an easy one, I think. Like the loved gifts, it's not impossible to do. I mean, heck, it's definitely manageable within 2 days. So we'll see how well we can churn through on that one. I mean, again, don't think it'll take us long to do. And I think that's an easy one to do. So we're going to smoke we've got our smoked sea cucumber and our albacore. So we'll grab both of those. And then what next? goodness I've got loads of wood. I really should start turning that into charcoal coal. It would be nice, I think, would actually have a differentiation between charcoal and coal. I don't know what it would actually be. Maybe just two different icons, but then it would be another inventory item. And I mean, unless you used charcoal for something else, so maybe something. I'm trying to think of anything that one uses charcoal for specifically. Oh goodness, all of the wine is ready. I need to get this all sorted, don't I? Goodness gracious. This is going to be interesting because I don't think I can do both sheds because, I mean, if one shed's ready, that means both sheds are ready, but I'm not going to be able to do both of them in the amount of time that I've got, I don't think. So this could be a little bit of a conundrum. Fiddlesticks is probably the nicest way of putting it. Good old bit of fiddlesticks. Well, again, we're just replacing all this with the star fruit because star fruit for the win. When is it not for the win for me? To be fair, it is the main moneymaker. It is the main reason that High Ridge Farm stays in business. Is the powerful joys of grown at a separate location, but it's definitely High Ridge Farm quality. Goodness, I'm not trying to make myself sound like a salesman, but goodness gracious, am I doing it? Sometimes I do wonder why I don't fall down more. Anyway, let's just quickly check the preserve shed. Okay, so we've got some wines in here as well that need readying. So that's going to have to be a thing. Oh, goodness. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's just going to slightly throw out of whack my sequence of stuff. That's the annoying thing. But it probably wouldn't hurt for having them be ready 2 sequential days rather than 1 singular. Just because it's easier on my workload. Either way. So we've got all that wine. I don't think I'll sell it yet. And storing it's probably more useful right now. Because I do need it. I mean, it does have some really big uses for me with being aged. Okay. Let's quickly churn on through here. Well, the children are happy-ish. I mean, I've said hello and good morning. Hello, child. It is time. That's obviously not how one really truly speaks to children. It would be a little bit weird if that was. Yeah, I know I'm a bit strange, but goodness gracious, I have some levels of, well, not even decorum. I mean, I'm just a little bit odd at the best of times. Anyway, so we're going to make some green tea because we're now in the final week of the month, which means the green tea will be available as the tea plants are going to be much producing all of their lovely harvestable goodies. And that makes my life a lot easier in some ways because, of course, it means that I can go and dump a bunch of tea on Caroline. Obviously not literally, as I'm not quite that evil or insane, but it does mean that I can provide that for her as the gift, as of course she is my mystery friend for receiving of presents. So it's going to be easy enough, I hope. One can hope. So yes, that's the game plan we've got here today at least. So either way, let's get ready with the stuff today. Oh, so another little bit of oh yeah, some clay, goody. Let's have a quick look and see what else is available at the moment. I guess that's the big question, isn't it? What's available right now? So we're going to add that there. So I need to sort out this building. And the thing is, I feel very silly because I set up the keg outside of them so I could use that as an indicator of them being ready. And what did I do? Just totally forgot to actually do anything with it. I didn't actually do it. I feel very silly for doing so. For not actually putting a bit of whatever in them. As, you know, use them as they were kind of designed. So I have done now for the star fruit one, but I'm going to have to remember to with this ancient fruit wine shed for now, as I feel very silly. But oh well, I'll live. Right. So I'm going to make a bunch of ancient fruit and some pineapple wines. Again, I think they're probably going to be the best for this location. And, yeah. Again, I mean, the ancient fruit must be due for harvest later on, maybe this week. I think probably Wednesday will be when I'll be able to harvest the next batch of the ancient fruit, which is good. I'm always keen to get my hand on more of it. Even though I know I did lament its, not really existence when I played through. I didn't realise it's like... My concern was the fact that its overall end value wasn't as high, but really, truthfully, I needed to really reflect on the fact that actually it does still have its benefits. Because, of course, if I harvest it, I don't lose it. But I love my little tea shed here. I mean, look at all that tea. And the coffee plants as well. So it gives me a nice constant production of both tea and coffee. I do have quite an excess of coffee I kind of need to work through. I think it's probably the best way of describing it. And I've been not really like deliberately lax with it, but I have been less concerned about like actually making sure that the coffee is processed. And that's something I really should do, because the coffee is my main consumption, because of course it does give me that very important speed boost. And I think that's kind of a general consideration. It's nice that green tea now does, and I'm very pleased that it does. The extra energy is helpful. I think more so early game. Not so much for me at the moment. But at the same time, I'm not going to turn my nose up and say, no, I don't want that. I wouldn't want that buff. Because again, it's nice that you can have a food buff and a drink buff. And then if you're during the desert festival, you can have a desert food item buff as well. And that's really helpful, because the desert food item buffs are pretty glorious. And because you can essentially customize it how you wish, because telling the individual who's doing the cooking what you want in it changes the food item that gains the benefit. So of course, like, sorry, not the food item that gains the benefit, sorry, the stat that gains the benefit from your choice. Which, you know, is kind of cool. And very helpful, in all honesty. Because it meant that when I was delving into the depths of Skull Caverns, I could be like, well, I'd like more luck, please. Because why would I not want more luck if I'm going into Skull Caves? I mean, of course, is that not the way that is the best plan of action on that one? So yeah. That's how I'm glad that that's a thing. So I'm going to turn some cheese in. Now, one of the other things I did see somebody mention is that you could use a large barn like this also as a storage shed. Like in the same vein as I'm using the sheds at the moment. And I hadn't really thought about it again until recently. And actually, it does make sense as a thing that one can do, and I like it as an idea. I just don't know. I'd feel bad about the animals having an incredibly restricted space, but at the same time, they have access to the outside. Currently they don't, but so I'm getting like concerned about digital animals' welfare here, so that tells you I'm a bit of a bleeding heart sometimes. But the actual consideration I had is how easy would it be to gather stuff? Because I could essentially partition bits off by putting fences and all sorts in. But because as long as I've got an auto grabber, we're pretty much golden. I think we don't need to worry so much on other fronts. We've got all that we need, which is great in one's own humble opinion. Like, the coop is quite narrow comparatively, but the barn is quite large and does have quite a bit of space. And maybe I should start putting all of the producing machines, so the cheese maker and the mayonnaise maker, inside there, which I think probably would be a good way of doing it. Because, yeah, I mean, it makes sense in my brain, at least. But then again, stuff making sense in my brain isn't exactly an indicator that it's a good plan. but all the same. So we've only got a few more days left of this season. We've got the Feast of the Winter Star coming up very shortly. So thankfully, Caroline's an easy one, which is going to give her green tea. I don't think she'll be super upset about that because she likes green tea, and that's easy. So yeah, that's a thing that we're going to be doing. I'm just trying to think of anyone else that we can sort of gain a benefit from. In honesty, like there's got to be something else that I can. I mean, I'm not really trying to do anything else, really, am I, with it? But yes, I'm praying for a tea set. I know it's probably not going to happen, but a man can hope and desire and dream, right? Because that's clearly how this works. But the thing is, like, over this last year of the farm, which has been ever since the 1.6 update, I've been quite glad to be able to add a little bit of extra stuff to the farm, as it's given us a little bit of extra shiny stuff that we can add, and that feels good. If I'm honest, it just feels good that we've been able to do that sort of thing. Right, into the Stardrop Saloon we go. And Gus, what do you have? No, you will have yourself a lovely prismatic shard and hopefully a lovely festive season. I'm sure he'll display it somewhere. Oh, a purple mushroom in the bin. I mean, well, I mean, I expected to be able to find a purple mushroom, but I didn't expect to be able to find it in the bin. It's a thing. Hey ho, let's go. So yeah. Purple mushrooms. Okay, so everyone's getting themselves some extra goodies. I don't think I need anything else really from here, do I? Well, at least everyone's exercising today, so that gives us a good opportunity to dump some some prismatic shards on them, because that's good. Okay, so Caroline and George aren't in. I wonder if they're in Harvey's clinic for his checkup. I mean, that would make sense to me. I don't actually know. I know there is obviously a schedule for everyone's checkups and such. I just can't remember where one finds that information. I'm assuming it's somewhere in there. So with our 2 tickets, we've got ourselves a potted plant, which is nice and all. And we're 1 away from another iridium tea. And again, I'd like to see what everyone's reaction is. I think maybe I should probably do a little short on just what everyone's reaction to the iridium tea is. Because that'd be kind of a little fun one. Maybe once I've finished doing all of the seasonal vegetables for spring. I've still got a couple more to do. I've got strawberries that are being worked on at the moment. And I need to get carrots on the go. That shouldn't be super difficult. We just need more carrots. Because the thing with the shorts is the amount of space it's taken up on the screen. It's like, oh goodness, all the damn carrots. Oh well, we'll live. So yeah. You know what? I don't often give Krobus a present when I'm called to for this sort of, not challenge really, but this quest per se. So I'm going to make sure I give Krobus one, because, you know, Krobus deserves presents. And that's another thing I've never actually done. I've never had Krobus as a housemate. And actually, I think that might be quite nice to do on my next run through. Like, I've always had a partner, but I do enjoy the fact that Krobus kind of gives you you don't have to have a partner, but does Krobus end up sharing your bed with you? Do they sleep in the bed with you, maybe? I mean, not super weird, but that is a thing, I think. Maybe? I'm not sure. I think it's a bit strange, because I think there's a dialogue option. I've seen it posted on one of the Reddit groups about when you're talking about eating black licorice or something, and you're chewing on Krobus, which feels very, very odd. Like, painfully weird odd. Hey ho, I guess. I mean, at the same time, though, I really enjoy black licorice. I just don't think I'd like chewing on somebody who is essentially a void creature. In the same vein of if you eat void mayonnaise, generally speaking, it ain't good for you. It gives you a big debuff. So I can't really imagine that nibbling on Krobus is particularly good for you either. Right. So let's quickly give everybody some more prismatic shards. And the thing is that I think there's only a couple of people who don't like prismatic shards to the same degree as it's not as considered as the ideal present for them. And I think really that's just my lovely wife. She doesn't like the prismatic shard in the same way everyone else does. I don't think she hates them, but I don't think she love the gift. So that's a thing. But I've already given Robin a Prezi. Anyone else need Prezzies? Maru and Demetrius, you haven't had presents yet, so there you are. You're in your kitchen diner area. So we will hand some Prezzies over. That'll be nice, because of course it will be. And again, I know I rag on Demetrius, but I've got to try and be a bit nicer to him as a character. I still dislike him, but I try. One genuinely tries to not hate him, which is not the easiest thing. Can't deny. I do just find him just awful as an individual because of his behaviours and his attitudes. But I do wonder if that's just a personal dislike of his the mannerisms and such. So I should probably sort of maybe reflect upon that myself. And maybe there's something else about him that I could try and figure out a way of... I'm not saying I need a way of liking him, but maybe feeling less dismissive. Now, we've still got a few more people we can give presents to. So Leo, we've got the wizard. I always forget to give the presents to the wizard because, again, it lives out of town, so he's harder to remember. And unfortunately, that is a kind of a curse of my ADD, is that if it's not in front of me, I won't remember it exists. Ah, Sebastian, you haven't had a present. Have a present. Goodness, hopefully somebody else sort of turns up that we can give a present to. That would be good. More presents. I haven't given one to Harvey. Again, I don't go to the clinic very often, so... And again, I don't think I've married Harvey on any of my playthroughs either, actually. So he's another marriage candidate that I've not really dealt with. I say dealt with, goodness, that sounds awful, doesn't it? I've not dealt with him yet. But yes, I've not ever married him or Elliot. Because as I've mentioned many times previously, I just do not like Elliot. But again, not everybody is going to be everybody else's cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. Because everyone is entitled to who they like as characters. Pam, you're fast asleep on the couch. That's I assume that's a bit of a holdover from her the trailer park. Not trailer park, but the trailer, because we've now given her a house, so she does actually have a bed. She doesn't have to sleep on the sofa. But knowing her, sadly, she's probably just drunk. Which is kind of sad. As a thing that, you know, she is trying a little bit, bless her. She does say that she's trying, but she's still not finding it easy. I think it's a shame. But then again, unfortunately, some people are just irredeemable. Sadly. Right, I'm going to make sure that some of these dispenser heres are readily dumping out some more of the fire quartz, because actually I need that a bit more than I need Jade. I've got over 1,000 of the damn stuff now, so I'm not as concerned about it. So 5, 6, so 5 more would be good, giving me Jade, and that's kind of good, really. Just trying to think if there's anything else I can sort of do with it. Maybe, being the operative word on that one. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. So we've got over 1,000 of the damn stuff. And not really something I super need, but hey, I'm not upset about it, and having the options for it is always helpful. So let's see, what else can we kind of do here? Oh, lummy daisy. I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Okay, bone fragments. Let's redistribute some of the bone fragments into the other fertilizer maker. But the thing is, we're coming up towards the end of the day now for today, so there's not really else much that I can do in this evening's opportunity of stuff. So I'm going to just deposit some of the other gubbins that we don't really need to worry about. But I'll get everything ready, and thank you everyone for tuning in for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please do like, share and subscribe, because believe me, those all do definitely help. It's definitely nice to see the comments that I'm seeing on the channel, and it's also really nice to see like people's just general engagement with it. It makes me happy seeing it. Big shout out, thank you goes to my patrons on Patreon, and of course hopefully I will catch you all again the next time the Walrus plays Stardew Valley.